I'm Kay Bess, and this is the Beehive. Women in voiceover, the voices of the fairer sex that keep the wheels of commerce and creativity moving in this country. Voices you hear every day, but names you likely don't know until now. Welcome to the Beehive, everybody. My guest today, oh my goodness, if you were little in the 90s and had Barbies, you will recognize the voice of my guest today. Anthony Lansdowne was the voice of Barbie for 12 years. She also is the host of the long-running radio drama Adventures in Odyssey. She has hosted that program for 30 years. She's also been the voice of hundreds of toys and games and instructional games. My goodness. If you were a kid in the 90s, you will recognize her voice. I'm so pleased to have you here. Anthony Lansdowne, welcome to the Beehive.
Thank you. I'm at the Beehive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here it is. As I said in my introduction, you have two really big claims to fame. Among many,
my bank robberies.
Your bank robberies, all the time you did in prison. And still, you had a studio in prison. I don't know how you did that.
Amazing.
The concrete walls.
Yes,
and
but the acoustics were good because I used the mattress. I just set the mattress up on the wall for the, padding.
That's good.
Kidding.
Well,
I'm not from jail,
You've
okay?
come a long way. So, Chris, you were the voice of Barbie.
Yes.
The voice of Barbie for 12 years.
Ah, those were the days. Yes.
That's wow. You made an imprint on many, dare I say, millions of little girls.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
What a privilege it was to, as I say, be a voice of an icon.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. So you did not only the dolls themselves, but you did. Tell me all the stuff that you did as the voice of Barbie.
Shall I tell you? Do you want a little backstory to it?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, how I got the job was probably the strangest way I've ever booked a voiceover job.
Oh, cool.
Because I was, this is way back. I was on another job and I was doing a voice for a baby doll. And the lady that I was working for said, "Can you make the voice just a little friendly, a little sweeter?" And she would always give me this direction. And she'd make up the word. She'd say, "Why don't you make it like a Barbie? How would Barbie say it?"
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's really funny because I said, okay. And then she'd make reference to, do the Barbie kind of sound for this doll that you're doing. So something came up maybe about a month later. And she said, "You know what? They're auditioning for dolls at Mattel." She didn't really know what doll.
Which
doll. And I go, "Oh, cool. Mattel." Mattel.
Oh, yeah.
So I went home and I was telling my husband about, "Hey, honey, I'm gonna go for an audition at Mattel." And
so did she then did you tell your agent, or did it happen that way? Or?
Well, this particular lady that I knew, she was working through my agency, but she also had connections to set up an audition.
An audition
for me.
Got it. All right.
This is right around 1994.
Okay.
The earthquake. The Northridge earthquake, remember? The next day, I was going to wake up, go to Mattel, and I was going to audition for this doll. Well, the earthquake came. It was like intense.
I guess they rescheduled you.
No.
They didn't?
No, they're in El Segundo. I was living in Sherman Oaks. So yes, it was tragic where we were, but they were not affected the way we were.
Yes,
and
right.
at the time, I had a little baby, my little daughter Kelsey at the time. And so she was probably about 1. And, my place was a wreck. There was like glass on the floor. I had to literally put her in a playpen so that she wouldn't crawl around in the mess.
And the glass.
I remember one moment when it was actually taking place, I went and ran in the room, picked her up, put her in my arms, was holding on to her, and I'm in between a doorway.
Right.
I'm holding her, and I'm kind of rocking back and forth, and I'm patting her, and I went, she's upside down. I was patting her little butt, and she was swinging in the wind there. But what happened was, the next day, it was, no way, I'm not going to go to an audition. My life is in the middle of an earthquake.
Yeah.
Tremors were still coming in.
Sure, yes.
I called down to El Segundo and I said, sorry, I'm not able to come to my audition. I was so responsible.
Yeah.
Well, the director at the time was Jacques Delong. And he says, oh, I understand. He says, Chris, how would you feel about auditioning just right on the phone? So he goes, just why don't you give me this one line and I'll kind of have an idea what you're going to sound like. And we'll know. And I went, I don't want to over spiritualize this, but I knew in my heart that I was supposed to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just knew something in my heart told me, calm down and pay attention. And he says, okay, you ready? And I said, yes. He goes, this is what I want you to say. At this point, I don't even know what I'm auditioning
it is, right?
for. No.
You don't. Okay.
So he says, say, hi, this is Barbie. Welcome to McDonald's. He just said Barbie.
And he just said McDonald's.
And McDonald's, I'm like, I hear
Partnership.
I get sweat on my head going, don't think about this too much. Sure. And I went, hi, it's me, Barbie. You look cool. Welcome to McDonald's. And he said nothing. And I went, I know I'm not very good right now because I'm sort of in an earthquake. And can I do it again? He goes, no. Can you come down to Mattel tomorrow? Yes.
Wow. And
I
thus began.
I told my husband, I said, honey, I need to go to Mattel. He goes, you do this. Don't worry. I'll take care of the baby. You go. I go, honey, I don't have a shower I can take because there's no water. It's like us girls I'm going to Mattel for my big audition. And I put on my baseball cap.
Perfect.
I was so unglamorous. And so I got in my car. I drove down there. I go into Mattel. They had this huge, giant Barbie statue in the lobby. I just kind of looked at her and went, I'm going to try to be you. And so they took me back to the studio, get into the recording booth. I sit down, and on the other side of the glass, there was like 7 people all sitting there with like suits and, important people.
Yeah, right. Suits is the perfect, yeah.
I just kind of sat down on my stool, and Jacques says, I just want you to do what you did on the phone. And I remember, hi, it's me, Barbie. You look cool.
And you just did this one line.
It's just this one line.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, he kind of leans forward to the talkback button, presses it, and goes, Chris, we want you to be Barbie's voice.
That is so awesome.
I got like goosebumps. Like, what do you mean Barbie, like Barbie's voice? He goes, yeah, we want you to be her. You have the sweetness and the best friend sound that we're looking for. Yeah. We want you to be her.
And this is the first voice of Barbie, right? But Barbie, to this point, has Barbie had a voice?
They had some other projects that weren't established. They were just, I think she maybe did a workout video and they did certain things.
Right.
They wanted to establish her voice. So the next day, I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
The world of Barbie, it was like suddenly they wanted her to talk for everything. They wanted her walkie-talkies, her skates, her cash register, her dolls, her kitchen, her dream house, everything. Her car, everything wanted to talk. I was so blessed. I got put right into the biggest moment of my life because I had been doing voiceovers for a while, but
I was just going to ask you. So that this was in '94, and how long had you been doing voices?
Well,
because you were also doing on-camera work.
Yes,
was, and wasn't that sort of the focus of your career?
It was
on camera.
It was at the beginning. I was really doing a lot of toys right around the time when I did her. I was working for Fisher Price and Hasbro. I was doing a lot of different toy companies, but she was like the pinnacle. She was she was the biggest one at the top of the top. And it's like, I didn't understand what it meant to be committed to one project like that. So I thought, when I went in, they said, okay, I've got to tell you, this one project that they picked was so intense because they wanted her to speak. I have to just tell you the details of this because her mouth on the doll they made it so the mouth actually opened and closed.
Wow.
Which was hysterical. And so we had to record thousands of names because they wanted every little girl that picked her up to play with, they wanted her to say, "Hi, Mary. Hi, Linda." So we did.
This is like the precursor to Siri.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We did.
That's
weeks
amazing.
and weeks of names, and we actually went into baby books because we wanted to make sure we got every name. And then we did different languages. I was kind of going crazy.
You get little batty, going a little batty. Yeah.
Chris needs a break.
Yeah. Those are hard jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, there just aren't that many voices of Barbie.
It's
you know,
crazy.
It's quite an
honor.
Quite an honor. Oh, yeah, for sure.
The hardest part for me was they did not want me to tell anybody that I was the voice.
For the whole time that you were doing it?
Right.
Well, I hope that it paid well.
It paid so well,
That's
goodness.
good. I mean, because if it doesn't, then you kind of go, well, then I really want to tell people that I'm Barbie, you know.
Oh my goodness. It gets so bad because when they wouldn't let me tell anybody, it got hard because I would go on certain jobs and that would be a nice introduction for me, you know.
Sure.
And
work begets work. And it's only when people know that you have that's your job.
Yes.
Well,
Then remember when Toy Story came out?
Yes.
Okay, here's this was one of the really hard parts of my career. I was at Mattel one day and they said, "Guess what, Chris? You're going to be in Toy Story." Finally, an animated feature film.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I've been in this business for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So when those moments come, you go, "Oh, I've worked hard." I was very excited. The next day I came in and they called me into the office and they said, "We have to tell you that you're not going to be doing the part. Disney wants to use their Barbie for the movie." I went, "Their Barbie?"
Barbie?
I'm doing Barbie for 8 years and who's their Barbie?
Who's their Barbie?
They used Jodie Benson.
I don't know Jodie Benson.
She was the voice of Little Mermaid.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Bless her heart. She's a great person, great talent. But I was Barbie.
Yeah.
She was already Little Mermaid.
Right.
On everything. She was Little Mermaid for everything.
Yeah.
This was my moment. And it was like, at that moment, I thought to myself, I want to be a classy person, you know?
Yes.
I don't want to be throwing tantrums and saying, "I'm Barbie." I said, okay, this is how you have to know this business is not necessarily loyal to anyone.
Yeah.
I was so fortunate to be able to do this job and this voice. I just said, okay. But the problem was when the credits rolled, they put her name for Barbie.
For Barbie. Right.
And so everybody went,
oh, that's who Barbie was.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, that is so difficult. That's so difficult.
All those years of me not being able to say, I was doing her voice. They went, "Oh, Jodie Benson's Barbie." And I went,
"Oh, that's so, I can't tell you how it just like leaves a knot in my stomach."
Yes, but you know what? I really think this. Yes, it was really difficult. It really hurt. But I said to myself, you know what? In my world, I have a faith and I believe in God. And I do believe He will put me into and give me what He wants me to do.
Yeah.
And I believed in my heart I was put there to do that. If I'm not, then I'm not. I will ride the wave until the wave dwindles and be grateful. And I am very grateful. Yeah. I had such a privilege and honor to do that voice. But I got to say, it was really weird because a strike had come. I think I'm trying to remember.
2000.
Yeah.
The strike, the commercial strike?
So I kind of recovered from that, but I was still working doing the voice. So I was still I wasn't wiped off the radar. You know, I was still her.
Yeah.
But then a strike came and I could not work. It was Christmas. All these Barbie products. It was like she had talking phones and she had all kinds of things coming out, talking watches. It was like she had CD-ROMs, private-eyed Barbie, and it was Rapunzel Barbie and all Detective Barbie. It was Snow White Barbie.
Yeah.
All this stuff was coming and I started to record it and then the strike came and then they went to Canada.
They went to Canada, of course.
Where it's non-union. They got other girls to do my part.
Yeah.
And forgive me for putting it this way, it wasn't my voice. So when I worked, I was so careful to make it sound so innocent and so, warm.
Yeah.
And I listened to these toys that were coming out, and they go, "Oh, is that you?" No, that's not me. And then I thought to myself, again, you just be gracious. You handle it with dignity, and in your heart, you do what you do, and you just have to kind of move on.
Well, such prime examples, such difficult examples of all of the things that affect our work.
Oh, you have no control.
No control from celebrity, right?
Yes.
To a strike. Strikes are, oh my gosh, that strike in 2000 was a strange time for me, I remember, because prior to that, I was the voice of Hyundai. Perry Gilpin was doing the national branding spots, but I did all the dealer spots across the country. So cool. It was a great job, But what they did was, since they knew the strike was coming, they recorded a bunch of stuff prior to the strike and then ran it all through the strike. So the year of that strike was my best year financially ever. While people around us were unable to work,
dying on the vine,
couldn't pay their mortgages, losing their houses, having to take their kids out of this school or that school, like their lives are turned upside down, by virtue of a strike, and which, sometimes these things are necessary, sometimes they're not. It's difficult to know, but the external forces that come to bear upon a career, and it's, man, those are particular hardships that really,
you got to have more you have to have a well-balanced life.
Yes.
I always look at it like a plate of food. When you have a well-balanced plate, you have your meat, you have your vegetables, you have your you have certain things on your plate to balance it out. I mean, I know there are some people that believe in order to make it, you have to live, breathe, sleep it. I don't feel that way. I think, if anything, you have to balance it out with other things.
Yeah. I think you also have to figure out who you are, how you're going to behave when things don't go so well,
right?
Because that's bound to happen. It just is. It's the nature of things. Every time we win a job, it means that the person who had the job prior lost the job, right? So that's how it works. Advertisers move on. They switch campaigns, and that means there are new losers and new winners.
That's right. You might replace somebody, and somebody might replace you.
That's exactly right.
It's like you have to be able to get perspective.
Yeah.
And I think there was at one point where they brought in a certain doll at Mattel. It was her talking hairstyling head.
Oh, yes. Okay. I remember
you press
this.
the button and she'd say, "Comb my hair. Oh, I look pretty." So
I remember that doll.
That big head.
I do, yeah.
There's one on my shelf. I have some toys at home on my shelf.
That's a little creepy.
Which I remember one time, one of the dolls they gave me fell into the tub. And in the middle of the night, the doll was talking by itself. It said, "Hi, hi,
that is so creepy. That's creepy. And a nightmare was born. Yeah.
It was a Twilight Zone. So they said, "We want you to sound just like this because it's got to match this thing in this head." I went, "Wait a minute." They played it for me, and it was not me. So what happened was that voice was trying to do my voice.
Oh, how funny.
She was trying to be me. Now I have to try to be her being me.
It's like, do you want me to do her better than what she does? Because I can do her better. Yes. She's doing me, and I could actually do me.
But I had to match because it was in the middle of something else, so I had to match her trying to do me.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
It is. You've got to have
funny
perspective. This is just between me and you and whoever's listening. I remember calling little girls on the phone.
Yeah.
And Big Barbie when they were sick. Like there were some kids that were sick in the hospital.
Yes.
And I had people go, "Would you mind calling as Barbie?" And I knew I wasn't supposed to. And I said, "You know what? I'll take that chance. These are sick little girls."
Yeah.
That needed to hear a friend.
Yeah.
And I remember calling hospitals, talking to them and encouraging them and saying, "I care about you. Don't worry." And, and I thought to myself, that was a risk worth taking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember there's like kids going through divorces and stuff. Not that I'm that great, but I thought to myself, this was my chance to use something positive that really affected a little girl that needed to hear that.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember Rob Paulson telling me a story about doing, I probably am going to mix this story up a little bit, but the gist of it is there. Because he, like many voice actors, he would often visit hospitals, and
was he allowed to?
Kids. He just did. I mean, as a turtle, as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and at one time he told me about a little kid who had cancer and was refusing to take her medication, which took orally, and just didn't want to take it, and he asked her in a particular voice of a character that she loved, to take her medication, and she did.
Oh, I love that.
And he just, he spoke about how, you think of yourself as like, I'm just a voice actor playing a silly cartoon, and who cares? Right. But the fact is, these characters really do resonate with kids, especially, I think, kids who are in difficult circumstances, whether they're sick, whether they have trouble at home, whether they're lonely because their parents are whatever, right. And characters like this, children's imaginations are so big and so strong, and
that's so sweet. You said that so well.
Well,
that's exactly.
But it is. You kind of forget. It seems like such a trivial job. As I say, it's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science, but it's something.
I took it very serious when I did her. I remember really being in recording sessions. It was always people goofing around, and they thought, hey, why don't you make her say this? Wait, make her say this. Because it's kind of off color.
Yeah.
It's kind of borderline a little sleazy. And I went, no.
Not doing it. Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I will not ever mention any names, but there was this one person, we were doing some projects because, they could license out. And I was doing a CD-ROM and CD-ROM. Is that a word?
That's
CD-ROM.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I was doing a CD-ROM.
And
we were recording on reel to reel.
He was, the director was a pretty big director at the time. He was directing me and he goes, oh my gosh, can you do this for you got to record this we're going to play this. This will crack up my so-and-so. Just make her say this. Now, this is the director. Everybody's listening. It's a big deal. Come on, Barbie. You just make her say this and I'll tell you, it'll be so funny. And I went, nope.
Can't do it.
I couldn't do it. And I wasn't going to do it. And I thought to myself, he looked at me like, you just think you're all that, don't you? He had no idea that internally I could not do something I didn't feel good about. Number one, Mattel, if that ever got to Mattel. Number two is I don't work that way. That's not my style.
Yeah.
But after that day, it was never the same. It just had a funny feeling. I thought,
well, you just held a little mirror up. I think it's like the integrity of the product, the integrity of that doll, what she stands for, who she is, and it's that mattered to you. I think that's amazing.
I had to be true to myself, and it just bugged him that I never did it. Like I thought to myself, don't like me. If you don't want to like me, don't like me.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not about you.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to hire me, don't hire me.
Yeah.
But I have to go to bed at night. I have to sleep, put my head on that pillow, and I have to say, okay, how do I feel about what I did today?
Yeah.
Do I feel embarrassed? Do I feel like I sold out? No, because I have other characters in animation, other things that come along. They're just raunchy stuff I don't feel good about. And my world is I love kids. Kids, you can find me. If there's a party going on, all the adults are in one room and I'm in the other room with all the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And kids are my passion. And I think I probably feel a responsibility towards, giving them good stuff.
You have been the host of Adventures in Odyssey for 30 years? 30 years! 30 years. So Adventures in Odyssey is a radio program. It's played on over 2,000 radio stations weekly. You reach millions of people with this,
you
right?
make me nervous.
Isn't that right, though?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hugely popular radio show.
And you've been on that
I have.
show.
I've played 2 characters on it just in the last, 2 years. It's been on for a very long time.
You know,
but-
I'm going to digress just a moment here. You guys don't know this about Kay. She's probably, in my world, I have loved her voice and the spirit of who she is when she does something. Her voice is like warm honey. It's like you have such a feel to you. When I grow up, I'm going to do it just like you. But I just, and the day she left the studio, they go, "Oh, she's really good."
Oh, that's
They
so
said she's
sweet.
really good, and you wouldn't have known that. I heard it, and I'm telling you, when she leaves her room and she performs, people go, "Oh, she's really good."
That is so sweet of you to say.
That's
Well,
who you
I
are.
felt very privileged to be able to do. I did 2 episodes, and I played sort of a woman who, I don't know, she had a little bit of a darker side, but she was sort of about my age, sort of within my
27,
own.
28?
Oh, stop! Just within my, it wasn't like a stretch for me to do her voice. And then I played a woman who was in her 90s.
Oh,
Right? Remember that one? It was a very short little part,
and
but
you were good. You were
and
so
I had
believable.
I think I had an accent too. I think
Yes,
was
you
an accent
did.
in there. I can't remember.
You're a good actress.
Sort of
You're a good actress.
Russian-like or
I can't
Eastern
do
Bloc
Russian.
kind of. But it was so it was really fun. That was a really fun character. But you, Chris Anthony, you have been the host of this program for 30 years. So that means that you have worked with every actor who has crossed the threshold into that studio, which is thousands, right? And
yes, and the thing is,
great storytelling, and what an amazing job.
I really feel so honored that they used me all these years.
Yeah.
This is my second family. These people I've known. I was in my early 20s when I went in there.
Yeah.
It was really strange because the writing, it's a radio drama, what it is. It's like radio, you listen to it. The sound effects, the acting, it's
awesome. It's a great show.
It's produced well, written well. We have some of the best writers, the best Foley, the sound effects is just amazing. Everybody, the music, John Campbell does the music. It's like, the only thing I don't like is the announcer or the hostess is me.
Stop.
But for how many years? 30 years I've gone, "Hi, this is Chris. Welcome to Adventures in Odyssey." 30 years. They still have to write it down for me.
Isn't that funny? It's part of being a voice actor. Like, I have to have the script. I may have said the same thing over like a million times, but I need the script.
I need the script too.
Yeah.
It's been a really amazing time. When they were looking for the hostess for the show, I was coming out of the parking lot at a studio, and a friend that Bob Luttrell, he recommended me. And they brought me in, and I remember sitting down, and they said, "We're looking for a hostess for this show." And I said, "Oh, great." So they put the script in front of me, and they said, "Just make her kind of warm, sweet, and like you want to listen to her every day, and so, like you're somebody's best friend." And they give you all these great adjectives.
Yeah.
So I sat down, I looked at the script, and I read it, and they stopped me. And I went, "Oh, another one of those moments. Okay, yeah, it's been fun. See you later."
Thank you.
You never know.
I know.
You never know what's going on. When you think you're doing great, you're doing lousy. You're doing lousy, you're doing great. So they stopped me. They said, "That's it. We found her." I went,
Oh, that's so great.
They picked me right there. And I thought, wow. Does
That's
that ever
amazing.
happen? Because you audition for millions of things and you go,
Well, and it's so rare that they tell you right there.
yes.
You might have to wait a week, and it's like, and you call your agent. Did they make a decision?
No, it was that was a rare.
What happened to you with Barbie too?
It's very rare. Now, again, I audition a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Have you ever sat in on a casting of any kind? Have you ever?
On camera, I have. But
It's so enlightening.
I would love to do that.
Well, I think it doesn't matter if you sit in on camera or voiceover or what have you, but what you end up realizing is that so many factors are at play in casting. And it's not like there's one person who's perfect and everybody else sucked. It's not like that. It's like we've got 5 or 6 people that we really like, and then we kind of narrow it down, and it's between these two or these three,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
this voice sounds really good with that voice, so this is the voice we're going to go to, even though this voice we really
Did you
love
sit
that
in?
read.
Have you done
I've
that?
sat in on an on-camera casting before, and so it's really true that the people who get to the callbacks, if you
Yes.
will, everybody's good. Everybody could do it. And then there are all these other little factors that come into play, how other actors pair up with each other, that kind of thing. But we as actors, we don't get that experience. It's either we booked it or we are
not.
losers.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know, it's
that's
like,
so
right?
true.
And it's the kind of experience that makes you realize that when you go into audition, you're really auditioning for things down the road, because the casting people will say, man, you would have been great for that role, you know, but this person's voice went really well with this guy, or what have you, or, you know, she really did sound like the sister, you know, so we went with her, but man, I'm going to remember you because that was great. Right. And so then 3 or 4 characters down the road, all of a sudden you get called in for something and you're like, wow, I didn't even read for that. But it's because somebody remembered you because you had a great audition. Right. So it's a fascinating thing, and I think it's a part of the burden of an actor that we feel like, well, if we didn't get the role, that must mean that we weren't good.
Isn't that
it's just not,
true?
and it's not true.
Do you guys hear that? That's a gem.
All right, we're gonna play Beehive Roulette.
Okay.
Have you listened to the podcast? It's okay if you haven't.
Of course I have.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
That's
scared
good.
right now. I know. I've definitely listened.
Oh, okay.
I love these.
Little Beehive Roulette. Okay, so I have a list of 50 questions.
Oh, I hope I get an easy one. Like,
Well, you're gonna pick them. You pick the numbers, and then I read the question that correlates to the number.
I know this is scary. Okay.
No more stalling. Pick your first.
I know. All right. I'm going to go with, what's the number span? Well, how between
1 to 50.
1 to 50.
Yeah.
28 came into my mind.
28. All right, here we go.
It says,
Who was the last person you talked to on the phone? See, they're not hard questions.
okay. Who's the last person I talked to on? Wait, does texting count?
Talked.
The last person I talked to on the phone would be my husband.
All right.
My husband. Oh,
Your
that's nice.
husband.
Can I go now?
No. What? Now your second number.
How many numbers I got to pick?
10.
Okay. That was 28. Let me think.
I should get a little roulette wheel.
Yeah.
I should.
Oh, like Wheel of just
Wheel of
spin it.
Fortune. I need to get a wheel. That's what I need to do.
All right.
And take the onus off of the guest.
The budget's going to
right?
expand.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
Got to get my sponsors to kick down.
I'm going to go with number. What did I just pick ahead?
You picked 28.
Okay. I'm now going to see how my memory is. I'm going to go with 50.
50.
Yeah, the big 50.
Okay. Name something that most people don't know about you.
Oh, you know what I like to do? I like to eat raw macaroni.
That's
I like
good.
raw macaroni. I literally
Chris
like,
Anthony likes raw macaroni.
I do. Like, the long skinny spaghetti. I like that
Yeah.
crunch on it.
That's so funny. Okay.
I'm feeling number 24. It's my daughter's age.
How do you like your eggs?
Sunny side up.
Sunny side up.
That's right.
Do you baste it?
Do I baste?
Which mean, like, do you put a lid on and let the steam kind of cook it?
That's another question.
I'm sorry.
Because
Okay,
let me tell you right now,
pick
I don't
another-
like to cook.
Okay.
So that's way too much work.
Okay. Sunny side up it is. Okay. Next number.
18.
What's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream is pistachio
Oh, yummy.
because it's so good and you get the little crunchy pistachios in there.
And it's green.
It's green. It's green.
It's
green.
fantastic. Okay, next.
Okay, how many you got left?
You have 6 more to choose.
Okay,
6
do
more
I get to
numbers.
win a car at the end or something?
You actually get a Barbie car
Oh!
and walkie-talkies. Hilarious.
15.
15. Do you untie your shoes when you take them off?
Oh, no.
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 All right, next.
How many you got left?
5.
Ooh. Okay, let's speed it up then. How about number 23?
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
That is so easy. Red.
Okay, next.
Okay, and then number 2.
What's your sign?
Sign, I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn.
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 You're a Capricorn.
How many you got left?
3 more.
3.
3
Okay,
more.
3 more. 66.
There's no 66. It goes to 50. It goes to 50.
I knew. 47.
Okay, 47. What's the furthest you've been from home?
The farthest so far that I've been is to Alaska.
Fantastic.
They invited me to be on the air in Alaska.
I remember this.
Yes. They did
I saw your pictures on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
They invited me because I'm Chris from Adventures in Odyssey.
Yes.
They air that show big time up there in this Glen Allen in this radio station up there. And they invited me to come to their share-a-thon. They were going to raise money for the station. So they wanted a celebrity, right?
It's fantastic. You are a celebrity.
So I got to go up there, be on the air, say, come on down to the station. It was the best experience of my entire life.
Oh, how fun.
I had people coming in with salmon and a jar, antlers for me to take home. And
did they bring you moose droppings, like a moose dropping necklace? My family lives in Alaska, so
They do?
Yeah, so they do make jewelry out of moose droppings.
You should have told me that. I would have gone over and said hi.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever did tell you that. I feel like I might have said.
You might have.
Hey, my
forgot.
family lives in Anchorage, but
In
they do.
Anchorage? I went to Anchorage when I was there.
Yeah, they're in Anchorage, and then my dad lives in Palmer.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But they make jewelry out of moose droppings.
Oh.
Because they eat wood. And so they just poop wood. So, you know what I mean? It's hilarious.
Hey, now there's something Kay's giving you the real scoop on.
I'm giving you the real Alaskan scoop. Anyway, super funny, but they do make jewelry out of
I would like
moose
to. I
poop.
would wear it.
Yeah.
I would totally wear a necklace because it'd be such a great conversation piece.
What are your earrings made of? Moose poop? Yeah. Okay, you have two more.
33.
What's your favorite type of food?
What was the question?
What type of food? What's your favorite type of food?
Kate needs a nap.
I know.
She wants me to go home
Wait,
now.
no. 33 was the number that you picked. Okay.
What's my favorite food? Oh, what's my favorite food?
Yeah, Italian.
Kate wants to go home
I'm
now.
gonna. No, I am home.
Oh, that's right.
I don't have anywhere to go, Chris.
She's so cute. My favorite food is spaghetti. Pasta.
Okay, pasta.
Always pasta.
That's
and
fantastic.
it's so bad because my doctor said at my last checkup, she goes, let's pull it back a little bit on the carbs. She's cholesterol's climbing here. She goes, I want you to cut out pasta. And I went, kill me now. I can't cut out pasta. I'll cut out anything but pasta. And so.
Yeah, that's tragic.
Where were we?
You have one more to pick.
25.
All right.
I might be sorry.
You might be.
Okay.
Who's your loudest friend?
I don't have any friends. Yes, you do. No, nobody likes me.
Then it must be me. I must be your loudest friend.
It's you. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
ding,
that's
ding.
hilarious. Of course you have friends. Who's your loudest friend? I have so many.
My loudest friend.
Loud friends.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not really a loud person.
I'm not. No.
I am my loudest friend. It's like
That's a good answer.
hey, that's the only friend I got.
There's another question in here, which is, if you were another person, would you be friends with you? So I think the answer would be yes, and you are your loudest friend.
I would be a lot nicer to me than I am, whatever that means. Okay, wait.
I would be a lot nicer to me than I am. I'm gonna try to.
And there is no alcohol. We are not.
I
this
know.
is just having fun.
It's gonna take me a couple of hours to unpack that.
Okay, I have one last thing I was going to tell you because
and then I have another question to ask you.
If I croak tomorrow, if this is my last podcast for the rest of my life, I wanted to say this because kids are really important to me.
Yeah.
One of my things I do is I go to schools periodically and I talk to kids. The readathons, I always go read a book and I do voices. I do puppets and stuff.
Okay.
If I go tomorrow, I want you to write this down.
Okay.
I wanted to say something about loves kids and cares about people. I'm making you keeper of my tombstone title.
Deal. You know what? Consider it on a voice print. Because
Okay.
you said it right in that microphone. And I think it's really great. I think Providence is at hand because the two jobs, and I know you've had hundreds and hundreds of others with a career that spans 30 years, but the two most prominent jobs, that of Barbie and that of being the hostess for Adventures in Odyssey, are perfect for you.
Oh,
They're
thank you.
perfect.
You make me cry. That was really very heartfelt.
But they are, given what you value, given what matters most to you. I think that's just absolutely.
It chokes me up. That's very
as
sweet
it should
because
be.
that's how I feel that. I feel like there's some things you can, you're meant to do. And I really believe that.
Yeah.
And when they go away, you can't like I said, when Barbie and they started doing other voices, I just had to be gracious and say, thank you for that period of my life.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, when I go to school and I talk to kids, and I honestly, this is probably the more important part of my life, is when I connect with the kids and I tell them, I say things like, you are so powerful. And I tell them this particular thing because I have a room full of kids thinking I'm so cool and I do all these voices, and I always show them how to do voices, you know. But you know what's more powerful than me doing all these voices? And they go, what? I said, well, do you know you can walk through a room and you being who you are, you could smile at somebody and you could change their day. Kids smile to somebody, just smile at them and they smile. And it's so powerful.
Yeah.
I said, now I want everybody in the room to smile at the person next to you. And they smile at each other. And I go, what's that? Does that feel good? And they go, yeah. I go, okay, I got a bigger one. Hug somebody near you. And all these little kids are hugging each other. But it was the power of what I do made them feel safe and enough of me to take them there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that I'm that special. It was just one of my special moments.
But you are. That's the truth of it. That is the truth of it. So here's my last question for you.
Uh-oh.
If heaven exists,
oh dear,
what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, that's the deep one. Well, I mean, there is in the Bible, it says something about being well done, my good, faithful servant.
Yeah.
I could definitely say that, but I have my feeling in my heart that when I was little, my dad told me, I'm one of 5 siblings. I was the middle child. And if you're a middle child, you kind of have to carve out your identity a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I remember my dad says, Chris, I want you to remember wherever you go, you go light up the room. Go in that room and turn on your light and be that little light. And it's always stuck with me. So I remember when I go places, I think to myself, I'm going to just turn on a light, just connect with people. And I'm hoping that at some point when I get to heaven and God looks at me, he says, thank you for turning on your light because it's pretty dark. And my light to me is very important.
Yeah.
And so I hope he's happy with my light.
Fantastic.
Whew,
well,
that got me.
You know what? That's what you do when you are talking to kids and you talk about sharing a smile and giving a hug. That's you sharing your light. So I will say, I think you're also going to get a well done, good and faithful servant. I'm pretty sure of that. Chris Anthony Lansdowne, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure to have you. So where can people find you?
Jail, the post office. Okay. Vaughn's.
She's on parole. She'll,
No, I'm with AVO Talent, my best agency on the planet. You can Facebook me. I love.
Okay, great. You're on Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram. What's your handle on Instagram?
Chris Anthony Lansdowne.
Okay. Are you on Twitter or no?
I don't twit. I'm not a Twitter. I mean,
I am. Twit. That's so cute. Oh my gosh, that was really cute.
I haven't yet, and I don't know if I'm going to go there because I will just ramble on Twitter too. So.
We call that chirping. Okay, so you can find her at AVO Talent, and you can find her on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Ciao.
Thanks for joining me today in the Beehive. For podcast notes, pictures, and more information on my guests, visit the podcast website, thebeehivepodcast.com. Find me at my website, kbess.com. Follow me on Twitter at kbess. And subscribe to my channel on YouTube. If you've a mind to, please post a review of the podcast on iTunes. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and good for the bones. Come back for more Women in Voiceover next time in the Beehive.